Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Primary Science Podcast. I'm joined by the brilliant David Allen and Jules Pottle, and we're going to be looking at their new amazing resource, Let's Do Drama, which is all about bringing learning to life through, of course, drama, storytelling, and oracy in every single primary subject, of course, including science. So, Dave, Jules, could you introduce yourselves and tell us all about where Let's Do Drama came from and what was the spark that started it all?
My name's Dave, as Tim said, and I'm part-time university lecturer associate professor at University of Hertfordshire. I'm also an educational consultant and author, and at the moment I'm the chair of the Association of Science Education for this year. But we're here to talk about Let's Do Drama.
Hi, I'm Jules Pottle. I teach still. I'm in the classroom 2 days a week in year 6, and then the rest of the week I do lots of different things. I worked for storytelling schools, a method of teaching really good writing through oracy and drama, and I'm now director of that. I also write books. There's quite a few of them been used for the Great Science Share, if you've been listening to the podcast on that one. And they're about science being taught through storytelling. And then I do various other roles, including setting up this website with Dave.
So we've both got this passion for drama, and I suppose it's useful to know where that came from. So my drama experience started in primary school, and that carried on being in productions and doing those in secondary school and doing drama GCSE. And I think a lot of it came from I had brilliant drama teachers or teachers who were excited about drama in primary school and secondary school. So when I became a primary school teacher, I ended up doing as much drama as I could in lessons. And I didn't really realise that was unusual to be using drama in all different sorts of subjects until I got to university and I started training primary school teachers, and I started talking to colleagues and realised that actually lots of people can be quite scared about drama, haven't had experience of it, don't see the benefits of it. So this idea of using it in science and history and PSHE and all the other subjects was a bit alien to people.
Well, I was always really keen to get on stage at primary school, but no one ever gave me any parts because I was chronically shy and wouldn't say anything as myself. I would have said stuff as somebody else, but not as myself. It's a weird thing, that, isn't it, when you get a really chronically, really shy child. But doing teaching is a performance, and I've learnt to perform through that. And I love reading aloud with all the voices, and I've done stuff with my local pantomime. And in fact, I ended up with the lead role on my second year because I was there really to help the kids audition, and I was being Peter Pan so they could all do their Lost Boy performances. And, you know, as a teacher, I just sort of stepped into that and did it as big as I could, and then got the role of Peter Pan, which I wasn't expecting at all. And it was quite a big part. But totally loved it because I'd always wanted to do that sort of thing, but no one had ever seen it in me. And then through the years, I've come across different ways of teaching, and storytelling schools method is all about learning a story, putting it in your head, and then transferring it to the child's head before you even come to writing. It's all oral, drama related, and so that sort of built that side of my teaching. And I've always used stories for English and for science because I think putting everything in context really helps children to learn. So it's all been an amalgamation of that. And then teaching teachers how to do storytelling schools, I realised quite how much drama and oracy there is in that, and I became the sort of storytelling science lady, and Dave was always the drama science person, and we'd end up at conferences together, and that's kind of how we met, through being two sides of the same coin. And then it's been a match made in heaven, really, being able to work together. And we both love doing this whole process of creating drama and oracy and talk games out of curriculum subjects, including science.
Yeah, and we decided we wanted to share our passion that we've got, because we are very passionate about it, and we really wanted to bring the joy to more children. That sounds quite icky, I suppose, but teaching is joyous. When children are happy and they're engaged in their learning, it's amazing. And that's what drama does, as well as lots of other benefits with using drama and oracy with children. It really does mean in our experience, joyful learning. And it's joyful for you as an educator, as a teacher, as well as for the children.
And of course, drama dropped off the curriculum in many schools. And it was sort of going to be its own subject for a while in 2013, but then it got shoved into English and it's sort of overlooked. I mean, we do a class assembly, we do a school play, tick, we have done drama. And really, that's not how it's supposed to be. If you're using it as a tool for learning in all subject areas, then it can be in every lesson.
Yeah, and with in 2028, as the curriculum reviews just come out recently, and in 2028, drama's going to be back with a vengeance. It's going to be compulsory at Key Stages 1 and 2. So that's exciting, really, because more children are going to have experience of drama.
And for anyone listening who hasn't seen it yet, what actually is Let's Do Drama?
Well, I think if you're a teacher, the most Googled word recently is oracy. And people are really looking for something to deal with the fact that children aren't fluent in talk anymore. They receive information from screens and they understand it, like I can understand Italian because I've been hearing it all my life through friends and relatives, but they can't put the sentences together fluently. Like I can't say things in Italian, but I can say it in English and receive in in Italian. It's the same for children. They need the practice of actually putting the sentences together. So Let's Do Drama is here to teach those sort of skills as much as anything. When we first learn to do something, we see someone do it and we copy exactly what they do. And then after a while, we see someone do something and we go, oh, I could do that, but I'll do it my way. So we change it a bit. And eventually, when you've seen it done enough, you can then learn to do it yourself. And that's kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to get teachers to exemplify how you can apply talk in all parts of life and how to structure that talk so that it's the right kind of words, the right kind of structure to the sentences for whatever you're doing, so children can advocate for themselves. They can solve their own problems because they know how to do that with the spoken word. And we can use that in any subject, from maths to history to biology, all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know it's a website. We've called it Let's Do Drama because we took a long time trying to work out what to call it. But Let's Do Drama kind of just came to us because that's what you say in class. Let's do drama. So it's a resource bank of drama and oracy activities for teachers, and not just teachers, but other adults who work with children. And the whole site is kind of a one-stop shop for everything that you need for drama and oracy. So it's very much aimed at supporting your current curriculum. It's not to replace it. So what we've done is to write activities and materials to help people who work with children to enhance what they're already doing by adding in drama activities. And by adding it in, it doesn't mean it's something extra, because we've done it in a careful way so it will also cover a science topic or history or whatever. It will do both things, so you're not having more to do. So you choose a topic, whether it's science, maths, English, art, PSHE, and match the learning that you're covering or need to fulfill. And at the moment, we've got all the science done. And that's what we've launched with. English is what we're working with next. We're doing all those activities. And then we're aiming to have all the subjects on the site by the end of this year. Fingers crossed.
And so if you're a teacher, it's laid out like you would do your planning. You can find your math stuff, you can find your English stuff. But it's also useful for home educators, people who do clubs, because it's the sort of thing that you could pick up and run with, and they are standalone activities that you can do. They don't have to be linked to the curriculum. They all are, but you don't have to be planning it alongside school learning. After school clubs, brownies, anyone who works with children, really, it might be useful for, because there's a whole load on there, things like the warm-ups that are like explained, so you can do all those just for fun. And then there's all the drama strategies, and you could apply that to whatever it is you're covering in your club.
It's no mean feat that you guys have achieved there. It's an amazing achievement to create something like this that's just going to be so useful for teachers. And I just wanted to look a little bit more at the big picture. I know we've mentioned this a bit already, but as you mentioned, we talk a lot about oracy now. As you said, it's one of the most Googled words by teachers. We talk a lot about engagement, about building confidence and getting all the children involved. And like you also said, drama has always just kind of sat quietly in the background, unless you're, a real drama specialist or enthusiast. So why does drama matter so much for learning, and especially for primary science?
Well, in primary science, we're using it a lot for recall and recapping, but also engaging the children further with it. So if you ask the children to be the Mars rover, they have to use what they've just seen and pass it through their own brain into working out how they're going to be parts of that rover, and then working out a statement to say. And that passing it through their brain in these little quick activities is really important for getting children to absorb what they're learning. I quite often say to my class, education is like going to a sushi restaurant where the things pass you on the little conveyor belt. You can go to the sushi restaurant, you can sit in the sushi restaurant, you can let it all go past you, or you can pick it up and put it inside you. And that's what drama sort of forces them to do. It forces them to engage with their education, to pick it up, to, you know, chew on it and to react to it in some way. But it's also, it's like thinking aloud. So when you're doing these activities, you say, right, everybody be the Mars rover, they will have to talk to the people next to them in order to work out who's doing what and why, and what shape they're going to be and how they connect to the person next to them. So if you've given them that role of let's all become a thing, it's the discussion that happens before they show you the thing that they're making with their bodies that is often the most important, because they are having to reason about the item that they're talking about. I'll be the big rubber wheel, so I'm going to be this shape. I'm going to put my fingers in a gnarly way because the rubber's got those little bits of tread in the tyres, that sort of thing. So it creates an opportunity for dialogic talk. Children with half-formed ideas talking to someone else with half-formed ideas and coming to an agreement and some thinking together. And that's really what you want to happen in the primary classroom. So it's ideal for that.
I love that. I've never heard you say about the sushi restaurant before. That's such a brilliant analogy. I love it. So yeah, after that dialogic talk, we think about if specifically in science, what does that mean? What does drama mean in science? Well, it means that children can be a thing, like an object or a ball of plasticine sinking in water or floating when it's reshaped into a boat. They might be a scientific phenomena, like evaporation, to demonstrate change in state. Or sometimes they're a person, and it might be a scientist like Jane Goodall, if you're looking at habitats, or a person like a builder who's soundproofing a property to reduce sound pollution. So there's so many different ways of engaging children in a science lesson because they become all different sorts of things and people. But the main point is the child is no longer themselves. They're taking on this imagined role and they're responding spontaneously within this science scenario. So it's improvised, there's no polished performance, you're not necessarily going to do it in assembly or to parents. And it's about the journey that the children go through in that activity. It's not about the destination. And that's really freeing for the child. And we're very much giving them something we call permission to play. So drama is play, and when children are very young in the early years, they play a lot, and perhaps we back off from that and don't give them chances to play. Well, drama does do that. I had some children come to university to work with my students. They were year sixes, and we were doing a science activity, and there was all sorts of dressing up stuff in a box. And for the first 5-10 minutes, those children from year six were just grabbing the materials and walking up and down in the costumes because they wanted to play. And because it was drama, it was fine for them to do that. But also, it's about acknowledging in drama that mistakes are good. Scientists make loads of mistakes before they come up with a solution. And it's the same in drama. We want them to make mistakes because that's where the magic happens. And once children are told that you can take your drama wherever you want to take it within reason, then that's really freeing as well. And that's where good learning happens.
Do you find that role play and being someone else is almost like a skill that the children need to practice, like, you know, a scientific skill or a skill in maths?
Do you know, one of the things that they need most practice of is not necessarily being the character, it's thinking up the questions. Because if you put someone on a hot seat, let's say we're hot seating Mary Anning, and she's this brilliant paleontologist who discovered the ichthyosaur and ammonites and all sorts of things. And if you put that character into the classroom, the one thing they struggle with is what questions to ask. They'll say, what's your favourite colour? Which isn't necessarily a useful question in that. So we provide modelling so that it provides that talk frame So not only have we sort of like worked out where a good drama activity would fit in that topic, so you can go, oh, okay, I need to do rocks and swords, and we've already thought out where that might be, so it takes the pressure off the teacher. But when you do it, it contains like a bit of modelling in there, so that we model how to ask good questions and what the answers might be like, so that it directs the children and helps them to do that drama. It supports them in knowing how to do the role play.
I think at this point, loads of teachers will be listening and thinking, okay, you know what? I would love to do more drama, but I just don't really know where exactly to start. So what's the barrier usually? Is it confidence, time, behavior worries?
Well, there's two ends of the spectrum that teachers fear. One, that the children won't do anything. You say, off you go and do the drama, and they just stand there and go, I don't know what to do. And the other end of the spectrum is that they will go off and do so many things that it's too loud and chaotic, and you don't know if they're actually really learning in that moment because you can't tell what's going on. So children need training in how to do drama. I've learnt this through going to various countries like Malta, where I'd start them off on a talk game. And the first hurdle is they're not used to a talk game. So they're not used to having a talk partner in the same way as we do here. So you have to sort of work out where the children are and go, okay, well, we'll start small. We'll do a thing that is just at our places first, so just you and me, and quite small, before we move on to let's be very up and physical with your bodies, and then let's do a big thing, and then have other people watch us. So I think generally teachers think that the children will either overdo it or won't do it. And you have to break it down into small steps so that the children find themselves having fun. And that's the one thing I really notice. You do a little talk game in the classroom that's free and open and allows them to be comedic within it and have fun. Then suddenly there's this joy in the classroom. And like Dave was saying earlier, that's what we're trying to introduce back in. We, get away from the PowerPoints and let's do something that's really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Jules is right. You do need that support system for the children when you're starting out. And that might be before they go into drama, you're modeling what they might do in the drama, or you might give them a couple of lines of dialogue that you practice with them so that they know how to launch into it. So it's not this big abyss that they're scared of. But when children do engage with drama, and it might take a few sessions for them to really understand that this is worthwhile, it can be really freeing. But there's a level of trust is required, and that's important, and you need to create that trust. The children need to trust you as the adult, that no one's going to laugh at them or think they're silly. Same needs to happen with the peers. The other children in the class need to not laugh at them unless they're doing it for funnies. And the adult, you need to trust the children as well, because it goes that way. So you're creating this safe space for the children. And to do that, I always start in English. I don't start with science, because English seems like a more natural place. And the children perhaps might be expecting it in English. So I might base the drama on a key text, start very simply with a very simple strategy like hot seating, where you as the adult can have more control over it. Then as the children become more experienced, I'd branch out and do more in English and then start using it in science. I think you need to give yourself time and give the children time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I suppose my next logical question is, how might Let's Do Drama help with this? What does it give us teachers that makes that part of things easier?
Well, it's really easy for me and Dave, having done this for years, to sit together and go, oh, right, if you want to have a conversation about nutrition, let's have a tomato having a conversation with a sausage. And they can, say what's good about their own and have a dialogue. But that is actually quite a sort of weird concept for a lot of people. And they're like, what do you mean? How do I arrange that? How do I sort that out? So what we are doing is to go, okay, here's the whole curriculum. Let's find natural spaces that fit things really well. For example, if you're going to do discussion writing, let's say, should we build a new motorway through this village, which is, comes up in geography, then you could do that as an oral task first. Before you do the writing, you would do that as an activity where you become characters in that scenario and you then have that discussion. So we're pretty good at going, okay, here's a topic, here's where this would sit nicely and naturally, and so we'll place these ideas there so that a teacher who's busy and trying to plan can just go, right, I need something for rocks and soils, and they don't have to think too much past that. Click rocks and soils, here's a selection, just have a look at the ones there that might be useful for you and pick the one you like the best. Basically, there is sort of choice within that. So we love finding those places for the drama to sit. It's fun for us, so just let us do that, and it's there on Let's Do Drama for you to find.
Yeah, absolutely. We've created a straightforward format for each activity, and we walk you through each activity in a very clear way, and they're not laborious, they're not lengthy, because we know teachers are busy. So it's accessible. We show you what it looks like, we describe it, we model it. The site layout is very clear. It's divided into subjects and topics with each subject and age group. So you find what you want and you see if you like it and you run with it. And very few of them need extra resources. If it requires a video or a story or a monologue or image, we supply it. It's there. So it's just a case of selecting an activity and running with it because it's all there for you.
Now, I've been dying to ask this. I wonder if we could take a proper tour of the platform with the creators themselves. That's you guys.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
And I've got it loaded up. I'm going to take you through some of the sort of general pages first, and then we'll go specifically to an activity and look at what that looks like. This is the home screen, and you can see if you scroll down, there's a little bit about our mission, and there's Dave and I talking about why we've used these activities to teach with. There's a little bit about where to join. And then here, there's a browse by subject. So eventually these will all be filled. At the moment, we have science and English is very nearly there. And then below that, we've got a little bit about professional development things. So there's a webinar, and there'll be another one each month. We're about to film another one. There's the monthly brief and the blog, and there's also some work on the theory behind what we're doing. If you want to know more about us, then there's the about pages about Let's Do Drama, what our aims are, and there's another video in there. So if you're trying to convince anybody in your leadership team, you might want to take them to the video. There's a little bit about us and how to contact us. And of course, we've got a membership page. So with the different types of membership, different subscriptions available. So you can go in there if you'd like to join us. But I think everybody is going to want to go to this page, which is the curriculum. So we'll come to that in a moment because I just want to show you drama warm-ups. So we have all the different warm-ups we use. And we also, those are for 4+, and then we've got ones for older children. And we've also got all the drama strategies. So these are all the different ways we use drama in the classroom to create opportunities for oracy and talk. So I'm going to go into the curriculum section now. And if I go straight into science, you can see it all pops up with all the different areas of science on the English National Curriculum, but they're much the same in other countries too. We're going to go down to living things. And when you get to living things, you'll see that there's ages 4 to 6 with a selection of ideas there that relate to the 4 to 6, so Key Stage 1, and then lower end of Key Stage 2, a variety of things there. And then we're going to go into one of our topics on digestion, which might be in this one actually.
Yeah, there goes my lunch. There it is.
That's it. So we go into There Goes My Lunch. So if you've got full access by buying a subscription, which is very inexpensive, same price as a coffee a month, then you can look at the different options you can play with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you click on There Goes My Lunch, you scroll down to the download, and it will download it to your downloads file. So this is what you receive when you get the download, something that looks like this for whichever topic it is. So at the top, there's all of the, this is what it's about. I can describe simple functions of the basic parts of the digestive system. And it says you're working in Conscience Alley. And if you're not sure what Conscience Alley is, you can click there and it will take you to the Conscience Alley strategy. For everything, there's kind of all the words you need to deliver the drama, and then what that might look like when the children do it. So the drama strategy we're going to use today is Conscience Alley. We're going to use it to help us remember everything we know about the human digestive system. Now, the children will have already learned about the digestive system, so they'll know everything from sort of swallowing to pooing. And you're all going to represent the different parts of the digestive system. So you get them into 2 lines, like it says, metre apart, and you say these words to them. You don't, of course, have to say exactly this. This is a guide. Then on either side of the alley, at the start of the line, are going to represent the first part of the digestive system, which would be the mouth. And then the next people would be further down, would be the esophagus, and so on. And then you get the children to understand that at each point, as you, as the piece of food, walk down the conscience alley, so the row of children facing inwards towards you, making a little alleyway, they're going to explain what's happening to you as you pass down. So you might need some of this warm-up talk beforehand, like I'm going to play the part of a piece of banana, and I'm going to pass through the digestive system, and you're going to tell me what you're going to do to me as I pass through you. So if I enter the mouth, what happens here? Biting, chewing, tasting, saliva being added, being moved around by the tongue. And so you go, yeah. So the mouth might say, I'm chewing you, or I'm covering you in saliva to break you down. And then that's what they're saying as the banana, the teacher or the child you've elected to walk down conscious alley, passes them. That's what they're saying. And then you rehearse with them, what might it be for the next piece of the gut? What might it be for the next piece of the gut? And then the last part that we always provide is kind of what it might end up looking like. So we give an example. I'm chewing you, I'm breaking you down, I'm covering you in saliva. I'm swallowing you, I'm squeezing you and pushing you. I'm churning you up. Here comes some hydrochloric acid. Whoosh! Now you're a soupy liquid. And so the children are narrating the passage of the banana through the guts, and they're doing one part. You can always swap them around and they can do another part. This was something that one of my teachers loved doing. They did this as a follow-up to the gut experiment, where you squeeze all the food through in a tube, and then you squeeze it through tights and get rid of the water, and then it comes out as a solid poo at the end.
This is the sort of activity that could be done in literally 5 minutes at the start of the next lesson. So if you've been looking at the digestive system and maybe they've been doing research or whatever, they know about all of the information associated with the topic. You're going to move on to the next part of it, 5 minutes, just to consolidate the learning. You've done some active drama. That understanding has really been cemented for the children, but this could take a very short amount of time and give the children loads of benefit.
It's a great way to get oracy going. And maybe, do they do actions as well? So, if they're the mouth, I'm biting you, I'm chewing you, or is that something that comes later?
You make it your own, Tim. You really make it your own. It's a scripted suggestion, so you adapt it, and the more confident children get, the more likely that they will be able to do more. So yeah, go for it.
And also you have to be aware that different children are going to want to do different amounts of physicality. Some children might be happy to do this or prefer to do nothing and just be straight because they feel more comfortable, but they'll do the words. And then other children will be, absolutely into it and being fully engaged with the whole body. And you know your class, so you know what they're going to respond to best.
Some children will want to whisper it, so you'll put your ear really close to them and they'll whisper because they won't want to be heard by other children.
Okay.
You make sure children feel comfortable in the drama and they do whatever they want to do, and you don't force them to do anything they don't want to do in drama because you don't want to scar them. It's meant to be, like we said, a joyous experience, not something where they're put on the spot.
And actually, they'll get as much out of the drama from watching it as from being in it. So I have had children that won't storytell, but they write a better story from having heard the oracy games with the other children. So even if you've got children who are really reticent, that won't engage, then, you can let them just watch. But of course, the one thing that is going to get all children to engage is if you receive and cherish what they do. So if you say not like that, you're saying what they're doing isn't right. But if you say, wow, I love the way you're doing that, oh, you're so enthusiastic, wow, I heard every word, and you just make sure that everything they do as a performance is valued like it's a gift, a personal gift to you. You have to show them that you're valuing that they're putting themselves out there, and then that really encourages them that they can go, within the course of a lesson, you can get children who won't want to say anything at the beginning to being really quite comfortable to do it, to doing something quite big to a small audience by the end of the lesson. So another key tip I find is to sometimes when they're doing something of their own is you don't watch. Not watching is very powerful. It says to them, it doesn't matter what you do, you're on your own here. I'm just going to be over here. Same with teachers when I'm training them. Don't watch to begin with.
It's a safe.
That's why Conscious Alley's
place.
good, because they're standing opposite each other. They can't look down the line. They're just looking at you when you walk past them. So it's safer. We're trying to create this safe space. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we talked about this being a bit of a warm up, but I also noticed that there, when you were showing us the site, that there was a specific section for warm ups and those kinds of strategies. Why are those important, and what are some of them?
It's the same for anything. If you go for a run without warming up, you end up hurting yourself. And it's the same with drama. You have to kind of ease them in gently, and you have to kind of say, no, all voices are welcome here. All of your talk you're creating is great. I'm happy with it. Because if you don't, then they feel like what they're doing isn't good enough. So you have to sort of cherish everything. And part of doing the warm-up shows them that you're in the mood to play and that you will cherish everything that they have a go at. And they are by nature quite low stakes. So this doesn't matter. It's not getting recorded anywhere. And it's just for fun, so it doesn't matter. So starting there gets them ready for that drama activity. It gets them speaking and moving, because certain children will be quite sedentary at home and not used to sort of using their voice, and it gets them waking those parts of themselves up.
Yeah. It can be quite daunting, can't it, to break your silence when you're in role, when you're doing the drama. That needs to have happened beforehand. The same with movement. So if you've done it in a warm-up, because effectively warm-up is a game, and that's all it is really, your job's done. You're free to move and you're free to talk because you've already done it in the warm-up. I was doing a drama session not long ago, and it was based around a piece of art. It was based around a painting. We'd done all this talk about the painting, and I just forgot about the warm-up. When it said, right, now you're going to go into role, you're going to be these two characters from the painting, off you go. Silence. And then I realized, I didn't do a warm-up. I said, right, okay, stop, my fault. Didn't do a warm-up. We did a very quick warm-up, said the same sentence, an eruption of action and talk, because they were ready. So you just need to read the room. Sometimes you'll need a warm-up, sometimes you might not, but more times than not, it's good to do one. I think we're going to try one now. We're going to do the yes and game, which is an example. So we're going to try it with all three of us. So normally you do this in pairs, but because we've got three of us, we might as well do it all together. So this is following the rule of acceptance in drama, that you work with whatever the other actor that you're working with presents and says. So you build on it rather than saying, oh no, that's not right, I wanted to think of this. So we always start our sentence with yes and. Which context shall we do, Jules? What shall we do?
What should we build today? Shall we build a house?
Yeah.
It's nice and simple, straight, easy one.
Right. Okay. So we're going to build a house. We're going to build a house, and our house is going to have 4 stories so that we've got plenty of space for us all. Jules?
Yes. And on the top story, there's going to be a massive window so you can see for miles and miles.
Yes, and it's going to have a massive balcony to view the beautiful surrounding area.
Yes. And it's going to be surrounded by really tall trees so that we can look out from our bird spotting veranda to see all the wildlife.
Yes, and there's going to be a rope bridge that connects the balcony to the top of the trees so that you can go straight to the top of the trees to look out from there as well.
Yes. And we will have a huge storeroom full of animal feed so we can feed all of the different creatures and attract them from miles and miles.
Yes, and it's going to have a slide that takes you from the top floor down to the bottom floor, made of metal, so you can slide really fast on it.
Amazing. Yes, and that slide is going to be painted with pink flowers all over it.
Yes, and at the bottom of the slide is going to be a huge swimming pool so we can have loads of fun and go swimming.
So there you go. You get an idea of that. And also, again, we get smiles, and that's what's lovely. Even if you've not done anything like this before, it takes one warm-up to make children smile, and they've practiced speaking, and potentially they've practiced moving as well. So we've explained all of the warm-ups, and we've got an example as well if you're not sure how to do those.
And like I showed you, there's that hyperlink at the top. So where it's on the download thing, if you're not sure what Conscience Alley was, you just click on the word Conscience Alley and it'll take you to the strategy. So we've tried to make it super friendly for people who haven't got any drama experience. And we're hoping in the future, aren't we, Dave, to put a whole load of the warm-ups and things and play them like this, and then put little videos up so that people can see it in action, because often that's how we learn best, is to see it in action, isn't it?
Yeah, we've been inspired by your podcast, Tim. So we're doing our own podcast webinar series, and we're going to work through all the strategies in a series, a little bit like you're doing your deep dives, so that eventually people listen to the podcasts, they'll learn about all the different strategies.
That's really good. And I have to say, I really enjoyed playing Yes and it was really easy to pick up, super fun. And to be honest, I can't wait to play it with my sons tomorrow. So we've seen the warm-ups. We've looked at some of the main activities. What else is there available? What other gems and amazing things are there available?
Well, we've got some freebies on the website as well. So we've got a freebie for art, science, English, and PSHE. So if you're not sure what we're about, you can go to the site. On the top right, there's the freebies, and we're going to look at one of those now. So this is about a potato who won't speak to me, and there's a video that Jules has recorded with our brilliant friend Emma, who's we've talked about before, who's a puppeteer, and she's going to be appearing more and more on the site. But this is a great way of showing what's on the site. Children watch the video and then do a drama based on what they see.
You'll find the freebies here on the freebies drop down. And the one we're going to look at is Why Won't the Potato Talk to Me, which is teaching dead, alive or never alive, and creating a way for children to talk in the lesson about their knowledge of what was alive, what was never alive, and what's dead. So this will take you to Why Won't the Potato Talk to Me? And we go down to the bottom. Of course, flames are one of the things we discuss, so there's an image there. And then to the download. And now there's a resource that goes with it, and all the resources that we have are linked under the image. So download this resource, it will take you to the video, and it's all about an alien trying to get a potato to talk to me. The alien is talking to lots and lots of different things, trying to work out whether they're alive or not, or have never been alive. And so this is addressed in that conversation, and what we're doing is role playing, ready for the children to repeat that activity. So they're going to get a sock. You can stick googly eyes on it if you want. They're going to get a sock, and they're going to have a conversation in the classroom afterwards, one child being the alien and one child being the human, and they're talking about things in front of them in a tray as whether they are alive, dead or never living, and picking them up and trying to explain them to the alien using the video as the talk model for that activity. Hello, who are you?
I'm Ziggy from the planet Zig.
Oh, I'm Jules from planet Earth. What are you doing?
I'm talking to this being here.
That's a potato.
Oh, hello, potato. I'm Zig. Why isn't he answering? I've tried saying hello in all of the language, but he just won't answer.
Well, that's because potatoes can't talk. It's sort of asleep at the moment. If we plant it in the ground, it'll grow, but it won't grow here.
Wake up, potato! Wake up, potato!
It's a potato. It's a plant. We eat potatoes for our food. It can't talk or feel like us because it's a plant.
Oh, perhaps I should find something else to talk to then. Maybe something alive and not sleeping.
Oh, yes, I know. Here, this leaf is alive because it's still attached to the plant. Oh dear, well, it was alive, but it won't live for long now you've picked it. It needs to stay attached to the plant to be alive.
I picked it And now it will die. Oh no!
Well, yes, for a leaf to be alive, it has to be attached to the plant.
I'm so sorry, Leaf. Is that big plant over there alive? It's got lots of leaves attached to it.
Yeah, well, yes, that big tree is alive, and while the leaves are alive, whilst they're still attached to the plant. And soon it'll be autumn, and the tree will drop its leaves, and then those leaves will die.
But will the tree stay alive without its leaves?
Yes, it will. That's right. Plants are made of cells, so they're living things. Animals, like me, are made of cells too.
Are you alive?
Yes, I'm alive, but you see my hair? I don't need this to stay alive, so I could cut a bit off and still be alive. Hair isn't alive, even though it's attached and made by a living thing. It doesn't have a blood supply, you see, so it's not connected to anything that keeps it alive.
Oh, can I cut all your hair off then? All of it?
No, I like my hair how it is.
Oh, well, what about that white fluffy thing over there? It moves around like you. Is that alive?
Oh, yes, that's a dog. She's called Margot. A dog is an animal like me. Oh, she's grown so much. Dogs can hear you and understand, but they can't talk. They can only bark. But she's definitely alive. Look, she's moving and breathing and eating, and she is made of cells.
Moving and breathing and eating and made of cells. I saw something earlier that was moving.
Did you? Can you show it to me? Oh, that's fire. A flame moves, but it's not alive. Flames are not made of cells, so they're not alive.
So flames are dead. Oh no, it was dead. I saw a dead flame.
No, they're non-living. It was never alive. They've never been alive. Flames are non-living.
Oh, okay. So leaves are alive if they're attached to the main plant.
Yep.
You are alive. Living things move and breathe and are made of cells.
Yes.
Flames are non-living. Is anything else non-living?
Oh, yeah. Stones, water, bricks, plastic toys. There are loads.
What are they made of? Are they not made of cells?
No, they're made of things that you can dig up from the ground or from chemicals that you make in a laboratory.
What about this wooden table?
Oh, well, that was a tree, so it was living, but it's not living anymore.
The table is dead!
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Come on, let's go and find some more living things. We could go to the zoo.
Oh, yes, please. What's a zoo?
Oh, well, I'll show you. Look, come on. We'll go.
Woohoo!
So in that particular one, we've supplied what you need to make that conversation happen in the classroom. And we try and do that wherever we can, either a monologue for the teacher to say or how to set up the activity by what you say to the children. But in this case, it's done in the form of a video.
So thinking specifically about science now, is there one of the drama activities that might work specifically well for exploring a new science concept?
Yeah, we really like freeze frame and thought tapping. So you get everybody to create a thing. So let's say you put them in a group of 6 and you get them to create the Mars rover with their bodies or whatever it is that you're talking about. A seed being dispersed, anything really. And then once they're in their little freeze frames, you go around and you thought tap them, and that literally means tap them on the shoulder and ask them what they're thinking. If it's English, they might have an emotional reaction. What they're doing, if they're scientific, so or what they're made of, if you're thinking about the materials. So you ask them questions and they answer in role, and they don't have to be a person. They could be the wheel of a rover, and they could say, I'm made of rubber so that I'm really grippy and I've got deep treads so that I can get over the Martian terrain really well. Something like that.
They love this, especially I use magic microphone. I pretend I've got a microphone, and because obviously sometimes some children don't want to be touched on the shoulder. So it's just you put the microphone in front of their face, you ask them a question, who are you? What are you doing? and use the magic microphone. And it's really, really empowering because it means it shows that no one else is talking because it's a still freeze frame of a photograph. You're just bringing one of them alive at a time with a magic microphone. You get so much from it. They get so much from it, and they're able to really articulate clearly about the science learning if it's science that you're doing. All strategies can be used in science, really. Some may be trickier than others, but there's often a way to make an activity work.
Yeah, it seems like this is almost a culture that you build with your class over time, and it starts to have more and more impact. And I think that's sort of the next talking point I wanted to go over is that, what have you noticed when drama and oracy has become more normal, a normal part of classroom practice? What exact changes have you seen?
Giving them that sense of agency is also giving them the freedom to have ownership over their own learning. And we know it's not traditional to use drama in science. It's not a traditional approach. It's predominantly used in English, but it's got so much potential in science because it's a really creative way of teaching. But as well as it making it engaging and interesting, it also develops children's creative skills. So it's teaching for creativity. Because of all that, it raises standards. You'll find the standards will rise across the board if you're using drama effectively and regularly, and it will improve engagement levels. And because children are more engaged, they're more likely to learn. And also, drama does create those connections with real world examples because that's where you place in the context of the drama. So children see the point and the relevance. It's also really useful for assessment, and you could do a whole podcast just on assessment using drama because just like with individual whiteboards when they're holding up drawings or words and you can scan the whole room, same with drama. You can, if they're miming or modelling, you can look round, you can assess their understanding in a sweep of the room. So that's really, really powerful. It also helps children to retrieve knowledge because if you use drama to teach the actual initial activity, if you're doing a quick recap with drama, there's that immediate connection. But even if you didn't use drama for the original teaching and learning, when you're doing the recall with drama, it's easier because it's practical and it's immersive for the children to actually remember and retrieve that knowledge. And it's more likely to stay in their concrete memory.
They go, aren't we doing any work today? That's the ideal classroom, isn't it? When it doesn't feel like work.
That's what you want. Yeah. And this really seems like the way to do it. And I know we talked earlier about how especially impactful this can be for the children who perhaps struggle with expressing themselves, or maybe those that have learning challenges as well. How can we sort of weave this in to help those children?
Well, for children who struggle with writing, it's brilliant. It takes that whole blocker out. I will show you what I've learned, but I won't have to write it down. Fantastic. But for children who have needs, it's like EAL. It's really useful for EAL because children can latch onto one or two specific pieces of vocab and put them in with actions so that they get cemented in a bit better. If you've got a child who's quite hesitant, shy, like I was as a child, these games have an audience of one often. So we're only playing to the one person next to us. And that can be very helpful. And when you are doing something like creating Mars rover, you can have some safe roles. You can be something inanimate that doesn't have to move, or you can be something small or part of the surroundings. You can be a rock. And there's kind of safe roles that you can build in, and those need to be accepted and celebrated so that everything the child gives you as a performance, you say, thank you, that was great, and welcome that into the room, because that's part of getting children feeling comfortable doing a performance, even if it's just for one.
Yeah, it really is. It's very multisensory and it's very active. So that helps those children. It does reduce the barriers to learning. Also gives opportunity for challenge. If you've got children who are very able to stretch them, and you might not think, this is what's interesting in a drama lesson, you often are surprised at the child who will excel and show you more. And that is why you need to do drama, because children will come out with things that are phenomenal. And you would have had no idea if you hadn't have done drama, because it is so free and it's so open. What I love about it as well is it picks up on what Jules has just said. If a child's got EL and they arrived in the country and they've got no English, and they pick up from the clues that you're teaching about a particular topic, they might well know all about this topic in their home language. And in drama, they've got an opportunity now to share all of their understanding with you. And you can look and think, oh, through that modelling, they know all about this rock formation. They know and they understand it. And the child then has got this way to communicate with you. But also, they are hearing, because they're working in groups, they're hearing English repeated in a safe space by other children, because they're hearing that language more, they're more likely to start using it.
Yeah. It's visible learning right there.
Yeah.
You know, that missing piece, you know, we're always trying to see their learning on a mini whiteboard or in their book. But
Yeah.
this is equally, if not more so, powerful to see exactly what they know. And a quick bit of fun before we finish. What's your favorite drama strategy of all time, if you could only pick one?
I would say promenading is my favorite. And promenading is when generally you have the children stood around in a circle and they walk into the middle of the circle. Another child then walks into the middle of the circle and they have a conversation as if they are villagers or people in a town who know each other. They've bumped into each other and they're just having an incidental conversation. They have the conversation, they both leave, and then two more people walk in. So an example in science would be, I do this when the children have you've been studied seasons in Key Stage 1 all the way through the year, notice seasonal change and what happens in different seasons. So you might say, right, it's winter. So they walk in and they have a conversation about, oh, that's a lovely warm jacket you're wearing. Didn't it snow a lot last night? And then they have a conversation and you have a few children doing that. Then you move it on to spring and then summer. And they're just having a conversation to show, you say to them, I want you to get as much scientific knowledge in as you can. So there's loads. I love hot seating as well because it's a common one, but promenading is probably my favourite. Jules, what's yours?
I really like Phone Home, and it's the one that the kids always really like playing. So, for instance, if I'm doing a science story, I can do science and storytelling skills at the same time. And one person is from the story, and one person wasn't there, like Grandma. And then they sit together and they pretend to be on the phone. And it starts off with, hello, how are you, Grandma? Oh, I'm all right. And my knees are playing up in this terrible weather. And they can get into it as much as they like. And then they say, well, how's your day been? Oh, I've had the most awful day. You see, the power went out because there was a big storm and the wire blew down. And now we've got no power and the lighthouse is off. It's a disaster. And so they have this conversation that involves them telling the science as well as telling the story. It's great for recapping on what happened in a story. It's great for being a character and understanding how that character might speak, but it's also good at telling the science if there's science in the story. And so you could do that for real life as well. You know, imagine Mr. Macintosh having the day where he's got the perfect material to work and he's ringing his friend to tell him about it.
I'm now officially a fan of Let's Do Drama. You know, it gets children talking, they're imagining things, they're creating things, they're properly involved in their own learning, which is a complete win. So I just want to say a massive thank you so much to you, Dave and Jules, for sharing all of this with us, and indeed for putting in that time. It must have taken a lot of time to create something like Let's Do Drama that I just know is going to have a lot of impact moving forwards.
Thanks, Tim. It has. It's taken a long time. We've been working on it for 2 years, but we love it and it doesn't feel like work. It just feels, it is a joy to us. But what we would say is to people, go and have a look at the freebies, see what you think of those and try them out with your children, because hopefully you'll love them and find the joy like we do, if that's not too much of a cliche.
Not at all. And we'll put all the links in the description below, so all of you guys can go and explore Let's Do Drama properly yourselves at your leisure. And I just want to say thank you everyone out there for listening, and we will see you next time on the Primary Science Podcast. Bye for now.
Thanks, folks. Bye. Bye-bye.